Welcome to Christmas. I figured I probably should do something Christmassy for the Christmas season. I honestly thought about talking about how terrible Christmas music is, but I didn't want too many people freaking out at me. Christmas metal is definitely the best. Well, I've been hearing a lot of Christians complain about this war on Christmas like they do every year. So I'm going to be a bit of a Scrooge about it on this episode of Jake in a Box Podcast. So did you hear that they voted to impeach President Donald Trump? And all they've got to do is just take it over to the Senate.
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
In much, much more important news, Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker just came out, and it was so awesome! I honestly thought about making an episode that was a review of the movie, but I had to keep telling myself, just stick to politics, just stick to politics, just stick to politics. No spoilers, but best Star Wars movie since Disney took over. Highly, highly recommend it. And the best way for you to spread lots of Christmas cheer this season is to watch lots of Star Wars.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Alright, so I tried to dress Christmassy for this episode, but I have literally no Christmas attire at all. And I'm not a Scrooge, but I really don't care about most of Christmas rituals.
Humbug.
I have no Christmas sweaters or other attire. Giving gifts is just super stressful. I honestly just hate getting gifts. Christmas music is aggravating, except, of course, Christmas metal. And this is my fourth Christmas living out of my parents' house, and I still have no Christmas trees, lights, decorations, or anything. And I probably never will. So, I don't know. I guess just anything I say about Christmas, just take with a grain of salt.
Salt.
So like I said, I figured I'd do an episode for the holidays. He said holidays, not Christmas.
How dare you?
Okay, so as I'm sure you've heard, lately lots of conservatives and Christians have been saying that there's a war on Christmas. I mean, on the left, a lot of people deny it, but it's definitely there. So I think the question is it a problem? And if so, what should we do about it? So my totally relevant and correct thoughts about it as both a conservative and a Christian, I really don't care that much about it.
Oh, I don't care.
I keep hearing people who see happy holidays in stores and stuff, and they pretend all of a sudden the country is being taken over by pagans who hate Christmas. But if you haven't noticed, Christmas itself has already been extremely secularized. Nowadays it's all about Santa and reindeers and talking snowmen and elves and gingerbread men and stupid gift giving, and did I mention Santa?
Santa's coming to town!
Santa! Oh my God!
Sorry to break it to you guys, but those things have nothing to do with Christian Christmas. These are all secular icons, meaning they're all about the non-religious part of Christmas.
What? What does that have to do with it?
No. He's got a point.
I don't know, I guess I just think it's a weird thing for Christians to play victim with. It's you can walk into a store with lots of decorations of Santa and reindeers and Christmas trees and whatever, the whole shebang, and as long as the sign says Merry Christmas and the cashier says Merry Christmas when you go, then everything's alright. Even though literally none of that has anything to do with the Christian part of Christmas, except maybe the word Christmas, which nowadays for most people, Christmas is just a generic non-religious holiday anyways. But if that exact same store with absolutely no Christian decorations or apparel changes nothing but the words Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays, then suddenly Christians are crying foul. So all I'm saying is, if the only thing that you're noticing, the only thing that you care about is the word Christmas, I think you're missing the point. If your goal was actually to keep Christ in Christmas, then you would be more upset about the fact that this hypothetical store doesn't have nativity sets and mangers and angels and wise men and Bibles and crosses and stuff like that.
I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about.
Alright, here's my point. If you're primarily upset that people use the words Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas, then you've missed 90% of the point. And sometimes in these scenarios, it just feels like Christians are claustrophobic.
If you don't stand so close, you're making me claustrophobic.
What does claustrophobic mean?
It means he's afraid of Santa Claus.
No, it doesn't.
Ho, ho, ho!
Stop it, Patrick! You're scaring him!
Ho, ho, ho!
It's not working, Patrick.
On the other hand, if you're more upset that there aren't more nativities and mangers and angels and things like that around Christmas, okay, fine, that's a little different, I get that. But that's not usually what I hear when I hear Christians complain about this war on Christmas. And I agree, I do wish that people would be more interested in the Christian side of Christmas and not the secular side. I wish that the true meaning of Christmas would show up more in Christmas decorations and things like that. I'm definitely not saying that stores shouldn't have those things, but at the same time, those things are completely up to the people who are running the stores and the public places and whatever else. Just like Jews can't force anyone to put up Hanukkah decorations, and Muslims can't force you to put up Ramadan decorations. If that's a thing, I don't know. And in the same way, Christians can't force you to do that either.
That's not how the Force works.
Look, none of this means that you have to stop wishing people a Merry Christmas. Now, the supposed philosophy on the liberal side of things is that Happy Holidays is the generic term used to just cover all holidays regardless of your religious or non-religious affiliation. It's supposed to be inclusive. So whether you wish the cashier Happy Hanukkah or Merry Christmas shouldn't really matter, because we're supposed to be inclusive, because everyone is special, right?
Everyone's special, Dash. Which is another way of saying no one is.
I mean, theoretically, yeah, I'm okay with that philosophy. Just wish people whatever celebration you're a part of. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Family Day, whatever. So if you want, you should be able to wish Merry Christmas to whoever you want.
3. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
However, I know that's not always how it works in practice. Wishing Merry Christmas can be very offensive in some people's eyes. And you know me, I'm a very politically correct person. I would never seek out conflict.
Conflict breeds catastrophe.
Anyways, so here's one very recent example with somebody named Whitney Cummings. I honestly think she's supposed to be famous, but I have no idea who she is. She got in trouble for saying Merry Christmas in the office before she left for Christmas vacation, or winter break, or whatever. So check out what she said in one of her interviews.
Yeah. And also just the terminology around all of it. I got in trouble. I loved that HR sketch with your assistant.
Yeah.
Last year, I was working on a TV show, got in trouble with Human Resources for saying Merry Christmas to an intern.
Is that true?
That's true.
It can get you in trouble?
I was leaving, like on the 18th or whatever today was, and I was like, bye guys, Merry Christmas. Like just a formality, what you would say, right? I come back like June 6th, HR calls me in, they're like, hey, we need to talk to you. One of the interns is pissed off that you said Merry Christmas. And I was like, which by the way, I was like, I don't even care how your Christmas was. It was just a formality. Like I was just saying, it's what you say when you leave, right?
But in these times we're in, that could like trigger someone or offend them if it's not their holiday. Is that the idea?
That's what I said. I was like, well, what should I have said? Do they celebrate something else? And they're like, well, no, they're agnostic.
Right.
And I was like, no, you do not get to do that.
So I don't know what intern thinks this is a good way for them to keep their job, but regardless of that point, if saying Merry Christmas is supposed to get somebody fired, then yes, those on the liberal side have definitely taken it too far. This is definitely the one part of the war on Christmas I do understand, just to be clear. And I really do think Christians do need to fight back on that one, because that's honestly a pretty dumb part of it. And the whole point of the left is you're supposed to be inclusive. And look, Christmas has become so secularized that even saying Merry Christmas is not a religious thing anymore. Christmas in America is almost like the default if you're not religious. So anyways, my point is, if you want to say Merry Christmas, say Merry Christmas. Even if you get some flack for it. Because you're supposed to have the right to celebrate what and how you want. Your holiday greeting could be whatever you want.
Now, reality can be whatever I want.
But at the same time, when Christians are just crying and complaining about how stores and other public places aren't Christian enough, like, that's not gonna help anything. Like, it honestly comes across like you think that Christian holidays should be celebrated by everybody. Even if that's not what you believe, that is kind of sort of what you're saying, and that's at least how it comes across. And obviously that's a problem because of the whole separation of church and state thing. So other than just saying Merry Christmas, what can you do?
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Okay, so here's the main thing that you can do. Actually celebrate Christmas. Like, I know it's really fun with all the Christmas lights and the Christmas trees and the gift giving and all that, but if you're a Christian, obviously that's not the point of Christmas. So if that's about the extent of your celebration of Christmas, let me just remind you that Santa is not in the Bible.
What?
So like, one small thing you can do is think about the decorations you're using. There's nothing wrong with secular decorations of Santa and reindeer and whatever, but at the same time, if this is a Christian celebration, why not try some more clearly Christian decorations? Instead of Santa and reindeer on your lawn, why not set up a nativity scene? Instead of mistletoes and generic wreaths, why not things like Advent wreaths and other clearly Christian stuff? Things like that. And another thing, though I feel like this is obvious, try to not focus so much on Santa and gifts and stuff when you could be focusing on Christ. Again, there's nothing wrong with Santa and the stupid gift-giving thing that's super stupid.
You must be
the stupid head.
Oh!
If you're more concerned about what gift you're going to get someone than how you're going to talk to them about Christ, you might be missing the point. If you've talked to your kids about Santa this week more than you've talked to them about Christ, you might be missing the point. If you spend more time setting up your Christmas tree and Christmas lights than you spend in scripture or in church, you might be missing the point as bad as a stormtrooper.
And these last points, too accurate for sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
And speaking of church, I really think church is a must if you want to celebrate a Christian Christmas. And surprisingly, I've had a lot of Christians disagree with me on this one. The counter argument is, oh, it's a day about family and things like that. I'm not saying family isn't important on Christmas. I'm just saying that worshiping Christ on Christmas is also important. especially if you consider Christmas to be a Christian celebration. Now, a lot of churches have extra church services throughout the week during Advent, which is that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Obviously not required, but I definitely recommend it to keep your focus on Christ during the whole Christmas season. But what I think is even more important than that is actually going to church on Christmas. Yeah, I know almost everybody goes to church on Christmas Eve because it's just easier with family plans and stuff. But if Christmas is a Christian celebration to you, I really think it's important that you make a point to go to church on Christmas also. Got plans with extended family on Christmas? I think you can make the effort to go to church for 1 hour in the morning before that, even if you have to adjust your schedule a little bit. Does this interfere with opening presents with your kids or your parents on Christmas morning? Unless you're telling me that gift opening is more important than worshiping Christ and celebrating his birth on Christmas, I think you can do the gift opening a little earlier or a little later so that you can make the effort to go to church. Otherwise, you're kind of prioritizing gift opening over Christ on Christmas.
You're hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless. Rats.
So look, if your point is to fight against this whole war on Christmas, don't think that crying about the phrase happy holidays is how you're going to do it. Like I said, first make sure that you are celebrating Christmas in a Christian manner. From the way you decorate your house, to how you put your focus on Christ over Santa and gift giving, to how you put emphasis on worshiping in church. What's that one thing that Jesus said about celebrating Christmas? Something like, get that bullet out of your eye before shooting someone else's out. Something like that?
Oh my God, I shot my eye out!
And once you've got your own way of celebrating, then reach out to other people. Having a nativity scene in your yard as opposed to reindeer makes having conversations with people a little easier. Going to church throughout the Christmas season, and especially on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, good opportunity to invite friends and family. If your goal is to change the culture, these are the sorts of things you have to do to go about that. By inviting people into a true celebration of Christ on Christmas, not by complaining about how stores decorate themselves. So that's what I've got for you on this Christmas episode. You're welcome for getting your Christmas episode in.
What can I say except you're welcome?
As always, you know the drill. JakeInABoxPodcast@gmail.com. Agree or disagree, love to hear it. But I hope you all have a blessed and Merry Christmas. Praise be to Christ. Enjoy your celebrations, whatever they may be. So have a good night and stay classy. Hey, hope you liked the show on Jake in a Box Podcast. If you liked this episode, make sure you click the subscribe button below so that you never miss another video of Jake in a Box Podcasts.